Welcome to the Sports MVT Insider, a platform where we are unrelenting in covering our women in sport. And of course, we absolutely love celebrating those big moments, but also sometimes we focus on those small moments as well. But today we're focusing a little bit on the administrative side of the sport of netball. And most importantly, we are joined by an absolutely phenomenal lady. Now, she's currently the HOD of Sport at the Ga-Rankuwa Campus, TUT, as well as the 𝗀𝗶𝗹𝗶 assistant coach. Her name is Dumisani Chauke. Dumisani, how are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me on your platform.
Thank you so much for joining us. It has been an interview that we've been wanting to do for quite some time. I'm so happy that we finally have you on the Sports MVT Insider. But I would like for us to start the conversation here. Let's take you away from the world of sport. Let's take you away from all the busyness of your life. What do you do for fun, and what do you do when you're simply chilling at home?
What's fun?
You have to define it first. Tell us what is fun for you.
Well, fun for me is actually literally just being at home. Any moment I get to be at home and not do anything, I take it with both hands. But otherwise, if I'm at home, I enjoy gardening, I enjoy cooking, I enjoy sewing as well. I do have a sewing machine. And I enjoy just spending time with my kids, watching cartoons, rolling around on the carpet, having popcorn, watching whatever sport or movies, cooking, baking. So those are all what I call my happy place, my safe place when I'm at home, where I just want to be in my shell and get away from all the work and all the business of what happens in the life of being Dumisani.
Absolutely beautiful. I would like for us to talk about sports. Now, you've told us what you do for fun when you're at home, relaxing. Let's get into how did the passion and the love for sport actually come about?
Well, firstly, as a kid, I was quite active. I grew up playing in the streets with the boys, riding bicycles, kicking the ball, climbing trees, climbing walls and stuff like that. So I always had this energy. But part of that was also the fact that both my parents were quite active in sports. So my dad would take me to soccer matches and stuff like that. And also, on a Saturday, I wasn't one that goes out a lot. So I would sit and watch sport on TV, whether it's netball on 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗶 or basketball or football, any sport that I could get my hands on, I would watch. I still do that till this day. Whatever sport is on TV, I put it on and I watch that. And I guess for me, being active, participating in sports and watching sports and being influenced by my parents, I grew the passion for sports, whatever sports it is. Later on, it grew and went, focused more into the netball part of things. But I think just my surroundings in the fact that when I grew up in Malamle, we didn't have much, it's a small township. So you need to find different ways to keep yourself busy. For me, my safe place became sports.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. I'd like for us to now talk a little bit about values. Some athletes and coaches call these the pillars of the world of sport. What are your values as a woman in sport?
Well, I think a word like integrity is quite important for not only just women in sport, for every human being. If you have integrity, people get to trust you, trust your work, and trust what you're saying. I guess one of my other values is also being the helping hand and being the one that opens up the doors for other people. Also being considerate and passionate about what I do and sharing that passion with everyone that's around me or in my sphere of influence. And I think just the moment you have integrity, everything else just falls into place. The discipline, the commitment, the hard work, the honesty, and all that stuff then comes into place. So I think the leading word for me would be integrity here.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Let's talk a little bit about becoming a national athlete. But most importantly, what does it take to become a successful senior national athlete?
Oh my goodness. Firstly, it depends what sport code you're in because all the different codes have different dynamics. Secondly, it depends on what level of participation you want to get to. Also, understanding that there's a difference between participation and competing. So if we're going to talk about netball is a sport that I think is one of the most played female sports in South Africa and arguably on the African continent. But depending on where you grow up and your exposure to the sport, that might limit where you want to end up. But then also, those limitations don't necessarily have to stop what you want to achieve. You can relocate and go somewhere else. But yeah, what it takes is a lot of hard work. Nothing worth having or worth achieving is ever going to be given to you on a silver platter. So obviously, you would need to have the necessary discipline, the hard work, the commitment, the willpower. And also knowing that it takes an attitude of sacrifice as well, because you're always going to be sacrificing something, whether it's time away from school, from family, from work, from loved ones, whether it's sacrificing your own funds in your pocket to attain certain things, whether it's shoes or techies or uniform or getting into a transport to get to a tournament. It's an attitude of sacrifice that is required. And also, I guess, a bit of mentorship and coaching. Because most of the time we dream of certain things and we think it's like, it's just going to be easy to get there. But when you are surrounded by people that have been there before, or surrounded by people that know what it takes to get there, they can mentor you, coach you, and assist you and guide you to get to where you want to be. So yeah, commitment, discipline, sacrifice, and having the work ethic to go with what you're looking to achieve.
Let me take you back to 2014. Now you retired from international netball. Tell me a little bit about what motivated you to venture into coaching.
Well, I retired in 2015. I think it was June. The Aloes had just played a game against the KZN Stars. It was a playoff game, A and B section, and it was my retirement then. The decision was motivated by the fact that I'd already started coaching. I started coaching at the age of 18, actually. First, I started coaching because it was a requirement for my sports management qualification at Nelson Mandela University. But I started enjoying it because I enjoyed the transfer of knowledge and skills to those younger girls that I was coaching back then at 𝗀𝗍𝗃 Girls Primary School. So from coaching primary schools, I started coaching high schools, started coaching the lower teams at Nelson Mandela University, slowly graduated, and I went up and actually realized that I'm coaching some of these players at the university, but they will never get the opportunity to play on the provincial level if people like me are still there. So why am I holding on to the playing part where I can, step off, concentrate on something else, and someone else can have the opportunity? And that is when I actually said, listen, let me focus on this coaching thing. Because already even then, I was coaching the first team of the university in 2014 and 2015. Previously, I think 2013, I was a player coach. And then 2014, I then took over as a head coach, 2014, 2015. So it was basically about, creating the pathway. So you can't create a pathway and still stand in the path, So it was creating the pathway and then clearing the path so someone else can walk the same path. And I think for me, it worked out in a sense that already, when I was a player, I was already coaching. Now I'm a coach. I'm already into the administration part of things, which is where I actually want to take my career when I move on to the next level.
Absolutely beautiful.